Hello, bass family. Coming to you from the beautiful mountains around Lake Tahoe. But it's a perfect time for me to talk about the next bass book deep dive, which is the what. What am I talking about today? Well, it's the Improviser's Bass Method. This actually, a book I've had, obviously because it's terribly faded, I've had for decades, but it was mentioned by one of our family members in comments saying, hey, you should do this book. It's valuable to me. And believe me, this was one of, I think, probably the third or fourth book I ever got. I worked at a music store in Chico, California. And anytime books came in, I looked for anything. I was kind of new to the bass. I'd played guitar for many years, but somewhat new to the bass. So anything that came up was, I would get. So it's by Chuck Shear, and Chuck Shear Publications put out some of the highest quality instructional materials out there. So I recommend pretty much anything they make, but specifically this book. And you can actually look at who is endorsing it. Eddie Gomez, Rufus Reed, Richard Davis, Paul Jackson, Dave Friesen. There's a ton of wealth of information in here. So that's the book that we're covering. So, who's this for? This is for players who want to get better at, obviously what the title says, improvising. Get new ideas. We as musicians, a lot of times, hopefully this will resonate with you, because it should resonate with every musician, regardless of the instrument, is we have a tendency to get comfortable with what we can do, and we just end up playing the same stuff. If someone says, hey, let's play a funk groove, you gravitate to muscle memory that puts you in a funk groove. If someone gives you a nod during a jazz tune and says, hey, take a solo, sometimes it's frustrating because you realize these are all my old stuff. So if you want to break into new areas, get new influences, expand your musicality, especially with improvisation, this is the book. So it's for any player that feels like, hey, I want to be more than I am right now. I want to expand beyond my current musicality and get deeper. So how do they do that? The how of the book. Well, there's a lot of basic, good improvising foundational information about scales. And what's great is they give you the basic information, then give you an application for it. And, this is an older book, and it was one of the first ones I thought did extremely well. For example, they talk about, in this unit, minor keys and things like that, and minor scales. And then they give you a written line. Now, you can tell, one thing is this, there's no tab. So this book really has value to anyone who can read. Now, you don't have to sight read. And let's talk about the difference between that. Sight reading is, I throw some music in front of you, I give you like 30 seconds, and we're hitting the record light, and you can read it. Reading is the ability to interpret it no matter how long it takes. And that's where I think everyone should be trying to get comfortable at. I know sometimes you're like, oh, reading doesn't seem fun, but it unlocks amazing resources that are not available to players who rely only on tab. So that's great. When should players get this book? Well, obviously when you have a basic reading. And what I mean by that is you can look at a note. Let's see if I can get an example here. Like, you can look at a note and be able to tell what, note that is. You understand the key signature and what this rhythm is. You don't have to be able to sight read it. And if you look at this, go, wow, this book's not for me, I can't read that well. No, if you can discern it, if you can sit there and go, oh, that's a C, and it's the key is C major, so there's no sharp, so it's just a C. On the next one, D. If you can do that, if it takes you time, that's okay. Don't be discouraged. Another great thing I should mention about this, if you go towards the back of the book, there's these examples, which are great, of, and it's under like developing a musicianship section, like Herbie Hancock, Eye of the Hurricane. He transcribed Ron Carter's bass line. That's like taking a lesson with Ron Carter, sitting there and figuring out what he did. So that's it. Now, how do you get it? It's really available everywhere. I've seen it actually because Chuck has usually great distribution through music stores. So you can just go down to your local music store and see if they have it, or can they order it. Or if you don't have a music store nearby you, get online. If you just do a quick Google search on it, I'm sure you'll find many resources, because it is amazingly valuable to players. So that's it. I'm working remotely, obviously, so I don't have all my notes and stuff. So if I forgot something, we covered the why, the who, the what it is, the when to get it. Yeah. So I think it's just, I can't endorse this enough. Also, hopefully, if you're someone who's like put off learning to have even just basic sight reading skills, this is something important. And this hopefully is a carrot in front of you that, you want to break out of some of the patterns that you're playing all the time and have greater ability to improvise your music. This hopefully is that carrot on the stick that's making you go, okay, I'm going to finally slay the dragon and learn to read. Now remember, reading is different than sight reading. Don't be intimidated. It's so attainable. And I think unfortunately, for some reason, there's this mystique that, oh, it's going to take a lot of work and it's no fun and stuff. Honestly, with just a little effort, you'll have enough skill and ability to be able to drain this book of the knowledge it has. Something just popped in my mind. Would you guys like me to cover basic sight reading, like a basic music reading course? Just laying out the foundation of reading that I talked about today. If so, please, put a comment below. If enough people comment, of course, I'll jump on that and find a way to do it that'll, cover in this kind of short video format. All right. Highest endorsement, and thanks for the suggestion, by the way, to cover the Improviser's Bass Method by Chuck Sherritt. This book, amazing. It's the only book I actually brought up with me since we're kind of escaping the heat and we're going to spend the weekend up in Lake Tahoe. And so I'm just going to reread it and just go through it. I'm sure there's just stuff that, now that I'm a more advanced player than when I first bought it, I'm sure there's stuff that I will glean the second or third time through. All right. Hey, thanks for stopping by. I loved it that you guys are making suggestions for bass book deep dives, and I will get to them. There's 2 others that people have made to our Facebook. If you go to Facebook and look up Everything Bass with Dale Titus, join that. It's a free, you just like and follow. And then you can comment there, because I always post links to every video I upload there, and that's where you can also comment saying, hey, how about this book? Or I've heard people talk about this book. What's your take on it? I would love to cover all that in a future video. All right. Hey, thanks so much for spending this time with me. I hope you guys are all healthy, safe, having fun, and enjoying playing music. I'll see you at the next video.